Nobody wakes up one morning and says, well, that ruined my retirement. It doesn't happen like that. There's no explosion. There's no catastrophic decision. There's no dramatic headline moment. It's much quieter. It's a slow drift. It's a series of small adjustments that feel quite harmless at the time, until 5 years pass and something feels off. Not terrible, just not what you thought what this stage of your life would feel like. And that gap between what you imagine your retirement would be and what it actually feels like, that's where the problems begin. And today I want to talk about 5 things that quietly erode your retirement. Not obvious mistakes, just the subtle ones. And number 3 in particular, almost nobody prepares for it. If you're new here, I'm Darren. This channel is about the second half of life. Practically, honestly, and without any hype. Because retirement is definitely not a marketing brochure. It's a psychological shift. And if you want to feel steady instead of uncertain, there are a few things you need to see clearly. Let's start with the first one. Number 1, you retire from work, but not from the pressure. Here's something that most people underestimate. You can leave your job, but your internal wiring does not retire on the same day. For decades, you lived in performance mode. Deadlines, responsibility, schedules, expectations. Your nervous system adapted to that routine. Then suddenly it just stops. But internally, the engine is still running. You wake up and feel like you should be doing something more productive than you're doing, even when there's nothing urgent. So you create urgency. You overfill your calendar, you volunteer too much, you say yes when really, you really wanted to just say maybe. And then retirement becomes busy, structured, full, but not necessarily peaceful. And here's the uncomfortable truth. A lot of retirees just find that they're not comfortable doing nothing, because doing nothing feels unfamiliar. You're simply not used to it. And unfamiliar, well, that feels unsafe. So they then recreate the pressure they just escaped. Let me ask you something. If tomorrow you had absolutely nothing scheduled, no appointments, no tasks, no expectations, would you feel relaxed or slightly restless? The answer to that will tell you a lot. Because retirement isn't meant to be driven by urgency, it's meant to be guided by intention. And if you don't consciously release work mode thinking, it quietly follows you into your freedom. Number 2, comparison starts whispering. This second one rarely announces itself. It whispers. You see friends traveling more than you suddenly notice all the upgrades, you hear about the cruises, the renovations, all the overseas trips, and a subtle thought slips in. Are we doing enough? That question is very dangerous, because retirement doesn't have to be a scoreboard, but comparison, well, that creates one anyway. You start measuring travel frequency, lifestyle upgrades, and grand gestures. And here's the problem. You are comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You don't see their anxiety. You don't see their debt. You don't see the arguments behind the scenes. But your brain registers one thing. They're doing more, and contentment, well, that starts to weaken. And this one becomes even more destructive when it crosses over with number 4, which I'll talk about in a moment. Retirement doesn't fall apart because of scarcity. It falls apart when you stop defining what enough is for you. When someone else's lifestyle becomes your benchmark, your peace becomes conditional. And that's a fragile way to live. Number 3, the identity gap. This one surprises people the most. You can be financially prepared and emotionally unprepared. Work gave you more than just a paycheck. It gave you structure. It gave you feedback. It gave you relevance. It gave you a place in the world. Remove that, and then something subtle happens. There's a gap. Not dramatic, it's something quiet. You wake up without being needed in the same way, without being evaluated, without being measured. And for some people, that feels disorienting. But we don't talk about this part, because retirement is supposed to be the reward. So when someone feels unsettled, they assume there's something wrong with them. There isn't. You didn't just retire from employment, you retired from an identity that you built for decades. And that takes adjustment. Let me slow this down. If someone asks you today, who are you? Could you answer that question without mentioning what you used to do? That one question hits deeper than most expect. Retirement needs engagement. Not busyness, engagement. Contribution, connection. Because when purpose disappears, comparison grows louder. And when comparison grows louder, satisfaction fades. These aren't isolated issues, they actually do stack up. Number 4, fear makes most people shrink their own retirement. Now this one is incredibly common. People who did everything right become afraid to use what they actually built. They saved carefully, they invested wisely, sacrificed for decades. Then retirement comes and everything feels fragile. What if the market crashes? What if healthcare explodes? What if we live too long? Those questions are rational, but when rational caution turns into constant hesitation, retirement shrinks. Trips get postponed, experiences get delayed. You tell yourself next year will feel safer. But safety is a moving target. There will always be another reason to wait. And here's where this links directly to the final mistake. Because fear feeds postponement. Money is stored life energy. If it never gets converted into an experience, it never fulfills its purpose. Retirement isn't about preserving a number forever. It's about using it intentionally, while health and energy are still strong. Number 5, living later. This might be the quietest one of all. Living in later. We'll travel when the markets stabilise. We'll do that when things feel calmer, when we feel more certain. But here's the reality. Certainty rarely arrives, and energy declines faster than we expect. Health changes quietly, windows close, and too many people realise, a little too late, that they're always waiting for ideal conditions. Retirement isn't a rehearsal. This isn't the waiting room before something better. This is the chapter. And time is the one asset that does not compound. It only decreases. When people talk about regret in retirement, it's very rarely, I wish we'd saved a little more. It's usually, I wish we had gone. I wish we had done it sooner. I wish we hadn't waited. Let me bring this together clearly. Retirement doesn't usually collapse. It erodes. Work pressure follows you. Comparison creeps in. Identity shifts quietly. Fear tightens your grip. And postponement, well, that becomes a habit. None of these are dramatic, but together, they reshape the whole experience. And the good news? Every one of them is adjustable. You can slow your pace intentionally. You can define what is enough for yourself. You can build new purpose. You can use your money wisely, not fearfully. You can stop waiting. Retirement doesn't need to look impressive. It needs to feel aligned. When your time, energy and resources all move in the one direction, peace follows. Now I'm curious, which of these have you noticed in your life? Or which one surprised you the most? Let me know below. I genuinely read all the comments. And if you want steady, grounded conversations about how to navigate this stage of your life, please subscribe. Because retirement does not need to be louder. It just needs to be yours. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.